So Dan, Philippe Chagnot pleaded not guilty in court today. We still don't know why the shooting happened. Now, if convicted, he could be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In court this Friday afternoon, 68-year-old Philippe Chagnot entered a not guilty plea. He's been charged with homicide, special circumstances of lying in wait, possession of a silencer, and possession of a high-capacity magazine. Chagnot's attorney immediately denied all allegations and asked the court for more time before the next court hearing because of the magnitude of the case.
Landlords, get the help that you need before things boil over. Hi, my name is Rob Wells. I'm the Landlord Warrior on TikTok and YouTube. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe to our videos. Now, in the video that I just showed you here, and many of you probably in the Northern California area heard, this San Francisco landlord is in a lot of trouble now. He's being accused, I guess, of murder, and I think they're charging him with first-degree murder from what I understand in the article. Apparently they're alleging that the landlord lied and waited, or they waited outside and caused a ruse outside to lure his tenant out and then just shot him. Basically, they accused him of having a silencer, all kinds of stuff. Okay, how does that happen? Okay, and I think I'll just give you my thoughts. I think when you have problems and you're in an area like a San Francisco that has a pretty strong tenant protection ordinance where you can't evict a tenant without just cause under their ordinance and their rules and so forth, and all the rules and regulations, it gets a lot for a landlord to handle on their own, okay? And I don't know what happened, okay? I don't think they have released exactly motive and all that good stuff, okay? But the typical situations that I run into where emotions run even remotely close to what happened in the article here is, there might be some underlying problems. I don't know if this guy was, the tenant that was killed was like living in this landlord's house or not, or if this was a separate residence or whatnot. But in the shared living environment type stuff, it could be personality differences. It could be the tenant is just, landlord and tenant have personality differences and they ain't getting along. There might have been some, problems like nuisances, that type of deal that over time, left unresolved, make emotions boil over. Okay. So, this is the moral of the story of this is like this landlord's in a lot of hot water. At the very least, they're going to have a very expensive criminal defense, and you don't want to get to that point. How do you not get to that point? Well, the best thing I probably could think of, recommend doing is you go speak to a specialist, that handles tenancy issues and problems and can assess to you, hey, what the problems are. Can you start a just cause eviction, for example, if you're in an area that regulates evictions like San Francisco, or under state law, under the Tenants Protection Act, you want to assess what your rights are, okay? And you want to go to an experienced practitioner that can explain to you what type of documentation and evidence that you're going to have to get. A lot of times when I talk to landlords, it's like an educational moment about technical violations of the law and actually like dealing with the actual material breaches of the lease agreement or dealing with the problematic behavior. Because in many instances, the landlords have really decent cases. The tenant's causing a nuisance and harassing people, that type of stuff. That's actionable under the law. A tenant cannot be a nuisance. They cannot materially violate their lease agreement. They can't cause other people problems. And there are mechanisms in court that deal with that if they continue to do that. Okay. You don't want to do it allegedly how this landlord did it, because you're going to spend multitudes over what you need to and lose your freedom. Okay. Don't do that. I know lawyers, we cost a little bit of money and so forth, like that. And no one wants to have to do an eviction. The process sucks. I tell you that, okay? I hate to tell landlords that. I hate to tell them like this, we got to do all this busy work and so forth. But you don't want to be on the other end of the spectrum either, with facing a criminal prosecution where you're going to lose your freedom, possibly for life. Okay, that's no go. You're going to spend 20 times as much on on a criminal matter versus an eviction, doing it the right way. Okay, I don't know, you guys are going to tear me up in the comments. That's fine, that's cool, but don't end up like this landlord. Okay, get help and get it quickly. Okay, it's better to deal with something that now than to let it fester. Okay, so those are my thoughts. Landlords, if you're in the Northern California area and you got any type of problematic tenant situation, whether it's non-payment of rent, tenants causing nuisance, they're violating their lease agreement materially, or anything like that, feel free to reach out. We might be able to help out. Put your comments, questions down below. Try to answer them to the best of my ability. Until next time, folks, I'll talk to you then. See ya.